seems to take the road, never seems to take the road. Got buck teeth in a 2-mile stare, right through you like a neighbor there. Takes the line and saunters on, like the next one's gonna take her home, the next one's gonna take her home. When you got a hard life, it's not by what you lose, by what you gain. With enduring, with each bruise, hurts and scars and heavy loads, hurts and scars and heavy loads. Got a friend sells pots and pans on the streets and on the trains. If it makes enough, he'll be on his way. Feed his family for another day, feed his family for another day. Seen a guy on the factory floor, got a broken nose and a 2-inch scar, boxing for some poison pain. It'll leave him broke, it'll leave him lame, it'll leave him broke, it'll leave him lame. When you got a hard life, it's not by what you lose, by what you gain. With the enduring, with each bruise, hurts and scars and heavy loads, hurts and scars and heavy loads. Hard, live a lot hard to make a yard, but you can't beat a listen like a hurting day. It'll make you think a different way, make you think a different way. When you got a hard life, it's not by what you lose, by what you gain. With enduring, with each bruise, hurts and scars and heavy loads, hurts and scars and heavy loads. When you got a hard life, it's not by what you lose, by what you gain. With enduring, with each bruise, hurts and scars and heavy loads, hurts and scars and heavy loads.
Thank you so much.
We're Cup of Joe, and we consist of 3 siblings and my husband David here. And we started playing music together, the 3 of us, from a very, very early age. I can't really remember a time when we weren't playing together, but we officially started the band probably about 10 years ago now, 10 to 12 years ago. We play a fusion of bluegrass and folk music, and really try to take a lot from our cultural upbringing, and we really enjoy mixing a lot of old songs that are known, popular in Northern Ireland and this region. So we try to mend that with our bluegrass, and we also really, really love just folk traditions in general.
Originally got into bluegrass music through our parents. They provided a bit of an input that we couldn't avoid, because when you're driving along the road as a 7-year-old and Alison Krauss is on the CD, and that's all you're getting for about 3 hours if you're going in County Clare. I mean, you're going to start to like bluegrass music, and for us it was quite normal. We didn't really realise that there existed any other genres.
I think too, there was one day Tabitha started to play the banjo, and we all had grown up with the music but hadn't necessarily tried to play it too much. But Tabitha picked up the banjo and I picked up the guitar, Benjamin picked up the bass then, and that's 3 pretty important instruments for bluegrass music. And then along the line, then David's come along and adds so much with the mandolin.
I was very honored to get the, I forget what year it was, like 2018 or something like that. It was the IBMA Momentum Award for Instrumentalist of the Year. At the time, I was playing in another band called Mile 12, a bluegrass band from Boston, Massachusetts, and we were down showcasing that year at the IBMA in Raleigh, and we hosted our own kind of late night showcase room, and Cup of Joe was around kind of hanging backstage, and our bass player in Mile 12 had met these folks at the European edition of this event, the EWAB, European World of Bluegrass, in the Netherlands, I think the year prior. So the bass player in Mile 12 introduced me to these guys, and we just started playing and jamming and having a good time, and Tabitha casually invited me to come visit them sometime in Northern Ireland, and probably didn't think I would actually come, but I did a few months later. So
the song is kind of about just the idea of looking around us and realizing, in a sad way, I guess, that a lot of the trees and a lot of the things that we see will probably live much longer than we will. But it's just kind of that idea of really kind of trying to preserve what we have and pass it on to the next generation. So this is a song called "Weathered and Worn."
You're still standing there while I lie in my bed, defeated by the storm, broken in the soul. And I'm just lying here. I took you for granted, but I won't alone. Who knows if I will live to see the light in the morning, but there will be no change for you. And God will still cry. Just waiting for the day of truth.
our mum and dad play music and are really, really into music, and they both grew up, you know, appreciating a lot of different types of music, and they started going to the Bluegrass Festival when they were dating, and so they've been, you know, going every year for the past however many years it's happened, but really just from that was kind of the point of contact with this kind of music. And, you know, after that, our dad really started to get into ordering, you know, catalogs and magazines from the States. And specifically for me, I remember just hearing him playing like in the sitting room, like, you know, playing an alternating role on the banjo, just kept going round and round. And for me, those were like the moments early on in childhood where he would sit in the morning and practice banjo and, you know, look at his tablature that he had just ordered and gotten special delivery in the post. I don't know how many people in Northern Ireland were getting banjo newsletters delivered to their house, but he was one of the few people. But that was kind of the spark at the start that really made, I think, all of us just aware of the sound. I think I maybe started picking up the banjo probably when I was about 12. And I remember specifically one day, Reuben and I both actually had picked up banjos on the same day, and we said to each other, I'm going to learn this tune first. And then he said, no, I'm going to learn this tune first. And then we went to our bedrooms and probably practiced them for an hour and a half. And then we came out to the living room and said to our dad, which one played it better, you know. So it was just this competitive nature, but, you know, that's such a big part of it, you know, having that thing to keep pushing you to try to get better and get better.
I would say definitely going to, you know, certain bluegrass festivals over here that we grew up with, it's sort of just seeing the people play in front of you and going, well, they're from a different country, you know, they're from the United States, and maybe there was a bit of fascination with that as well, but, you know, the sounds were just like we'd heard off the CD, and they're, you know, so polished. People like Michael Cleveland coming over every year and playing at these events. But I think the biggest thing was the fact that when they came off stage, you know, you could go up to them, you could talk to them. I think that was a huge thing. There was something about it that was really accessible. I remember one year Tabitha was maybe only playing a couple of years and got to jam with Sammy Sheeler on the banjo, and that was a huge thing for her. And it's the same with us all, just the fact we can, you know, get to know like people on stage.
I started to listen to this band called Nickel Creek when I was early teens, and I think for some reason, it was just, I realized Nickel Creek were playing this lively music though with a touch of finesse that I appreciated. And the more and more I listened to it, the more and more I wanted to replicate it, or even to have a part in making a sound like that. And I think that was my moment when I was like, actually, this bluegrass thing, actually, it's worthwhile. So that was the moment where I thought, well, again, I was still warming up into the bass. Took me a little bit longer. It's not a natural instrument if you want to be a front man or woman on the stage. So it took me a while just to get used to playing that. But I think, you know, I came to appreciate just how important it is.
For me, I grew up in South Carolina, and I didn't really listen to a whole lot of bluegrass. My family didn't listen to much either, but my dad did play drums when he was growing up, and I think maybe when I was 11 years old, my mom bought him a drum kit because he hadn't had one for a while, and he started playing with the local jazz group. So that was my first experience in live music, really. And then me and my sister got to an age where my folks thought it would be nice for us to start playing musical instruments. So we both got guitars, and I didn't really stick with it very well. So I gave up music for a little bit. Through that, my dad surprised me one day and like brought me home a mandolin, and it was really cheap and didn't stay in tune, but I just enjoyed playing it. And it was through the instrument that I started getting interested in the music surrounding it, and actually started playing like traditional Irish music first with a local Irish band that was playing in South Carolina, and started going to jam sessions, and then found bluegrass around it. And kind of similarly, I didn't really enjoy bluegrass at first. It's an acquired taste, but just seeing how tangible it is around those events, the festivals and the concerts, and meeting those artists, and then getting to jam with them and experiencing the social aspect of the music really kind of stuck with me. So that's how I got started.
To the mountains and where the honeysuckle grows. There's wildflowers in the valley where no one goes, where no one knows me. 'Cause I'll try not to whisper, I'll try not to shout, but I lose my patience when everyone's around, when everyone's around me. 'Cause maybe I've just said too much, and maybe I've not said enough. From the dawn to setting sun, won't you watch upon my tongue? Won't you watch upon my tongue? 'Cause I get tired from the walking, the same old mile after mile, but joy comes in the morning, and I'm alive, and I'm alive. 'Cause maybe I've just said too much, and maybe I've not said enough. From the dawn to setting sun, won't you watch upon my tongue? Won't you watch upon my tongue? Stuck in the mud, but you can't get up when there's fear in your eyes. There's light in your trials, and master of all, maker of all, he makes the waters subside. The seed comes to life, and it's alive in me. 'Cause there's no point in the fighting when you're on the same side. The only truth worth knowing is none of us can hide, none of us can hide. 'Cause maybe I've just said too much, and maybe I've not said enough. From the dawn to setting sun, won't you watch upon my tongue? Maybe I've just said too much, and maybe I've not said enough. From the dawn to setting sun, won't you watch upon my tongue? Won't you watch upon my tongue? I wanna go to the mountains.
I think it's really interesting because, you know, they talk about the Scotch-Irish going to the States, but they did go a lot across the east coast of the United States. But really, this, you know, bluegrass sees its sort of heart in the Appalachians, you know, the Carolinas, Virginia. A lot of cultures, which was a good thing for music, but a lot of cultures in the north of the United States, they blended, and so you see things like Americana music, you see things like old time still are there, But it's also when music gets isolated in a small pocket, you do see interesting things happen too, because people have to innovate and they don't have a lot to innovate with, so they develop. And so I do think that's one of the bases of how you see a direct continuation from music that came from here straight to modern bluegrass music. So I think that's an interesting thing.
I was probably very ignorant about the connection until getting to know the Agnews and being over here quite a lot more. But the first time I came and visited, it was really surreal. We went to go see some bluegrass artists from the States who were over on tour, and I went to a show at the Red Room in Cookstown, and it was Greg Blake, who's an amazing guitar player, singer, and then Sally Van Meter was on dobro, Mark Schatz on bass, and John Reichman, one of my favorite mandolin players, was with him, and it felt so surreal, like getting to hear this music there in a country that I'd never been to. I think that's the whole thing about bluegrass music. There's a dichotomy in the music between the traditionalists and the people who want to change the music and make it progressive, and I love both. But even if you look back to Bill Monroe, he was just taking these rich music traditions and putting his own spin on it, and Earl Scruggs, playing the banjo and transforming the music with that energy as well. So it's really cool now looking back and thinking about that, and hearing bluegrass musicians here who have such a deep history to the music, but are also putting their own spin on it and being true to their upbringing and their culture, and that makes me excited for the future of bluegrass.
Bluegrass has so many, connections to this part of the world, and specifically Ulster. Just even over the past couple of years, I've really enjoyed getting to look into some of the histories of the songs. Really, a lot of the time, they're usually just similar songs with the same names. For example, there's one song in kind of the bluegrass tradition called Little Log Cabin in the Hill, or On the Hill, and it was probably a couple of years now that we have been really enjoying the Sam Henry collection of the songbook, and I know there's so many songs from Ulster, and seeing Little Log Cabin, on the hill, and then you see little mud cabin down the lane, you see stuff like that, and it's so clearly just kind of traveled over from one side of the pond to the other.
The fact that that was such an important thing over here years ago, and then bluegrass music is the exact same. It's very much a lot of the time a family thing. It's very much the same sort of methods of learning the music is the same. Yes, a lot of the tunes are the same, but even the fact that you play it together in at your front porch in your living room. It's that is the sort of basis of the music, how you learn it. You just play together.
We're gonna do a song now that is off our album In the Parting. It's the title track from that album, In the Parting, and this is a song that we got from great song collector Sam Henry, and we've really enjoyed getting to go through his song collection, and we've really had a blast, reading through all of the source recordings and poems and lyrics that he collected over the years. What a wonderful collection to have at our fingertips. And this is a song that was collected up on the north coast in Glenchesk, and you know, on the coastline. You can just imagine, you know, many years ago, people would be sailing off and really never seeing a lot of their family again and starting a new life somewhere else. And this song is really just about that, and the idea of leaving loved ones behind, and the idea of leaving a place that you've known all your life behind. And so we can kind of relate with that in some ways. You know, maybe some of us here have loved ones that live far away, or we ourselves have lived far away at one stage. And yeah, this is a song called In the Parting.
This evening I take my departure from the lovely place where I was bred, while my friends and relations come all around me, which causes my tears flourish. When I think that I am going to leave, I never stand in this place. No wonder it grieves me so to leave you. The parting you lovely Glenchesk, the parting you lovely Glenchesk. In bondage, he murmured, going away, but never turned back to their relevance, which oppressed them by night and by day. But those escaped from the confidence of a land where souls might find rest. No wonder it grieves me so to leave you. Parting you lovely Glenchesk, parting you lovely Glenchesk. Gently through the dawn, and likewise to sleep about the castle, place of grieving and alarm, and to not let the frightful doubt by nature a beautiful place. No wonder it grieves me so to leave you. Parting you lovely Glenchesk, the parting you lovely Glenchesk. Too much of your time I did with, so give safely. All a farewell to the shadows. All a farewell to the shadows. All a farewell to the shadows. Hello, all a farewell to the shadows.
Seeing so many young players come up right now and seeing and asking them who are your influences, and they'll say folks like Molly Tuttle, you know, Billy Strings, but it doesn't stop there. They definitely have a sense of, you know, who came before them. So even still, like, you know, players that are kind of younger and people would look up to, you know, like Noam Backelny, like an incredible banjo player. His mentor was, you know, Bella Fleck, and his mentor was like Earl Scruggs, and, you know, all these folks. So it's really amazing that even younger folks who are getting into the music really are aware, it seems, you know, of where so much can be credited to. And I think that's really important, because if you just kind of stop at that line, you don't get the richness of what came before. And I think that's what's so great about this kind of music.
The simplicity of the music as well is something that I think even young people nowadays can latch on to, and if they have a guitar, a lot of the bluegrass, you know, traditional songs and, you know, are based around 3 chords, and they can play it with their friends, they can play it with, you know, their family. And I think you know, that's not always the case with all types of music. People, you might listen to rock and, you know, amazing stuff, and it's great, but you then spend years and years trying to get that sound, you know, get the right amplifier, and you need all this gear, and you need this and that. But bluegrass, it comes very simple, you know, with the chord structures, with the lyrics. Even sometimes, you know, people can sing the same songs, you know, they're traditional songs, they're quite old, and there's like that sort of accessibility where I think it'll grow. You learn by playing with each other, and people want to be together and they want to play together. So I think it's in good hands, and hopefully it will continue to progress that way.
I guess in my experience with bluegrass, there's always been, you know, peaks and valleys of popularity. I know when I first got into it is right after Oh Brother, Where Art Thou had come out, and there was this big surge in, you know, folk music and bluegrass in particular. And that was exciting just because there's a lot of great bands, a lot of young players who were inspired to start playing. I think like that was when like Sierra Hull was starting to get popular, and Sarah Jarosz, and all these amazing artists that we look up to now. And then now I feel like the most recent cult phenomenon has been Billy Strings and Molly Tuttle, and these young players who are taking the music to younger, more modern audiences and playing for gigantic crowds. It's just this continuation, and I think that's great. You know, the more people who start listening to folk music, the more chances of survival there are.
In the land, it cries for justice. In the land.
Bluegrass does have a bright future, with that people are becoming more interested, not just because of maybe a one-off movie or because of a one-off artist, which is all great, but I think also because there's a greater awareness of what it can do, what it can sound like, and the depth it can have. So I think those are all very important things, and I do think that because, again, that community aspect, I think there's always going to be a need in, you know, any land, any tradition of that sort of sense of music and tradition. And I think that will carry on. So I do think it has a bright future.
Everyone's in such a rush. City caps and coffee cups. Everything's on the hour. Never time to take a shower. People in the parking lots. Anywhere to take a walk. To and fro, come and go. Not the kind to say hello. To and fro, come and go. Not the kind to say hello. Hey, mister, won't you just slow down and take the time to look around? There's no need to be afraid to see beyond the city gates, beyond the city gates. Everybody's walking around. They're all floating through the crowds, speeding up because they hate the ridicule of being late. Speeding up because they hate the ridicule of being late. Hey, mister, won't you just slow down and take the time to look around? There's no need to be afraid to see beyond the city gates, beyond the city gates. There's no bitter taste when you're living in a salty place. See what you try to find. You're living life unsatisfied. See what you try to find. You're living life unsatisfied. Hey, mister, won't you just slow down and take the time to look around? There's no need to be afraid to see beyond the city gates, beyond the city gates. Hey, mister, won't you just slow down and take the time to look around? There's no need to be afraid to see beyond the city gates, beyond the city gates.
Thank you. Thank you.